What's up, everybody? I'm back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be reacting to the third Kong Skull Island trailer. This one should be super cool. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I can't wait to check it out. So let's get into it.
An uncharted island.
Let me list all the ways you're gonna die. Rain, heat, disease-carrying flies, and we haven't started on the things that want to eat you alive.
Dang.
We'll double that.
Plus a bonus if we make it back.
Huh.
If?
In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine.
Oh, there's those deers.
Is that a monkey?
That's Kong. He's God on the island.
We don't belong here.
But the devils live below us. I
Oh,
call
he killed the
skull
buffalo.
crawlers. Why? Because it sounds neat.
Okay.
Look, I just made that name up. I'm trying to scare you.
I'm fine calling them that. Are you cool with it?
Yeah, that seems like
I
that
like
seems
the
like
name.
Whoa. It's like the mainstream trailer right here. Lots of POV shots. Oh shoot, that's how she gets down there. Whoa, that was sweet. Nice, man. That was really cool. See if there's anything else. Probably not. 360 Kong experience. I don't know what that's gonna be. Should probably check that out. Man, that was a pretty sweet Rise of the King. I can't read. Rise of the King Kong Skull Island trailer, official trailer 3, final trailer. That was pretty cool. All right. So my biggest complaint with it is that a lot of it was we've already seen in like all the TV spots. They released so many TV spots. I feel like all of us who kept up with the TV spots, we really didn't have a ton new in this trailer. I guess it's for that reason that I'm gonna do the breakdown in this video, because there was not a ton of new stuff that we haven't seen before. There were some pretty good jokes in here, and then, you know, guys, although I'm seeing the movie on Wednesday, a lot of people aren't. So I'm still going to be doing news updates after I see the movie, so I will cover everything on the Monarch website afterwards, and we'll continue to do the regular Kong Skull Island news updates after I've already seen it. Don't worry about that. A lot of people are worried, like, hey, are you going to not do this just because you've seen the movie? No, don't worry about it. I'm going to be covering all of this. Really quickly, though, I do want to mention how you get early tickets to the movie scene, as though it's on Wednesday. So what you need to do is you need to go to the hashtag blank being your state or, you know, city, specifically your city, blank loves Kong. All right, it's a hashtag. If you go there, if you search up that hashtag, so for example, if you were like New York loves Kong, and then you would check listings, see if there was a showing in New York with the early premiere, and then you would go on the website, get your account registered, get your account verified, and everything like that. Once you get that all done, you just sign up for the tickets, and then you get the tickets, and then you have to get there early to the showings in order to get seating. I'm probably going to head over like hours before it starts airing, just so I can get my seats and, secure my position in there. So it will be really amazing. Let's get into the breakdown, shall we? So the first Kong trailer really worked to build up the atmosphere of this movie and show the kind of tone that it was going for. The second trailer tried to mainstream and popularize this movie and make it more marketable for all types of people. This third trailer, what I'm going to start referring to as the action trailer, really just goes for the visuals and showing you these great shots and how cool this movie's going to be. So let's get into the breakdown. Starting out, we have a much brighter, happier logo for Warner Brothers, Legendary, as well as that third Chinese company that's working on the film. This is very different from the other trailers that we've seen that focus more on the period piece of the 70s, as well as just being more in tone with the trailer. We start out, we see someone load some sort of weapon up into this canister. I can't quite tell. This is probably them loading up the helicopters. We also see them start to operate the helicopters. They flip some switches. Then we see someone crack on this stereo. It looks like this big cassette tape is hooked up to these two speakers that are on the outside of this helicopter so it can start projecting music. Don't know if this is going to be part of Monarch's plan to wake up the monsters and get them all riled up. As we know, this is all Monarch's mission, is to wake up Kong and get proof of him, as we know from the clip where Sam Jackson and John Goodman are having a good old conversation at gunpoint. Now we see a bullet roll out the window of this helicopter. It's not really a window, it's this big open door of the helicopter, just showing some more of these fancy visuals. As Tom Hiddleston starts to list off the things that are on the island that could kill these people when they're on their expedition, we saw this in one of the TV spots. We see some extra visuals of the lightning striking around these helicopters. If you don't know what I'm referring to, there has been tons of TV spots leading up to this point that have showed much of the footage, and a lot of the context surrounding what we see in this trailer comes from those TV spots. I'm not going to go into the information in this video. Go watch the breakdowns for those ones separately so you can finally find out fully of all the different things that we know about going on here, as well as you can get full context of what I'm going to be referring to. Anyways, lightning striking around these helicopters. It does look like one of them gets struck. I was talking about that in my previous breakdown with the lightning trailer. I didn't know if one of them got struck or not. It looks like here one of them's about to. Cut 2, we see inside the boneyard, a big bomb goes off behind two of our characters. Now we see the mother longlegs being shot up. A lot of people might be wondering what is pouring down from its stomach and its body. This is actually blood. Blood is pouring out of its body. We've seen that in other TV spots and trailers as well. I like how serious Tom Hiddleston's character, James Conrad, is in this scene when he says, "If we make it back, I get a bonus for going to the island." Corey Hawkins' character kind of gets confused, like, "Oh, wait, if?" So Hiddleston, his character Conrad, he obviously knows he's in for a lot going to this island. He knows that he's going to most likely risk his life here. He doesn't know the severity of it, though. None of them do. Now we see this great shot of Skull Island with the big mountain in the background. We see some above shots, aerial shots of these helicopters flying around. We see a expendable soldier throwing a bomb out the window of his helicopter. He's gonna die. We see the bombs detonating on the ground, scaring away these deer-type animals. They do look more like what we see in the real world. This is just showing how the bombs are disrupting the nature of the island. Of course, Kong being the god of the island, he is going to have to defend his domain, and he will have to stand up for these guys. Now we see Bill Randa, played by John Goodman, filming Kong through his old-time camera. This camera could be a reference to King Kong 2005 as well as 1933. Both of those movies heavily featured these types of cameras that you had to film with. Obviously, because it's the 70s, they're not going to have modern cameras, so this is just part of the era. But the inclusion of a big old camera might be a reference to those movies, or it might just be part of the time period that the movie takes place in. Now Randa radios in, freaking out, asking for help. He's freaked out because Kong is there, and Kong is mad. We have new shots of Kong roaring. We also have a great sequence where Kong jumps for a helicopter and misses, showing that no, Kong doesn't have perfect aim, but he is going to cause a lot of damage here. So the helicopter actually gets away from him. We also see the other view of that tree flying into the cockpit of the helicopter from John Goodman's side, from Randa's side. We see the helicopter just get knocked out of the air, and he's watching it as it falls. Then we see it spin out. We also see inside the cockpit as the bobblehead is flipping around. We see inside a different helicopter where a soldier flies into the windshield of the helicopter. We'll talk about where that soldier comes from here in a second. There's another shot where two helicopters are trying to fly past each other. They wind up colliding into one another just because of all this chaos going on. And Kong running around, he is furious. Like they said, you don't go into someone's house dropping bombs unless you're picking a fight. Then they open fire on him. Of course, he is going to wipe out as many as he can. Now we see this soldier fly. He's holding on to the helicopter by the underneath of it. He flies away. We saw this in the first trailer. This is actually the same soldier that flies into the window of the other helicopter. We see inside a helicopter as Kong is picking it up through the air. We don't quite know what's happening yet, although if you kept up with the TV spots, you would know that this is Kong lifting it up. We see a pan shot past his mouth, and it continues to go up. We'll see the continuation of this scene here in a second. As Kong lifts the helicopter above his head, one of the soldiers slips and nearly falls out, and it looks like he's going to fall right into Kong's mouth. As we know, Kong is an apex predator in this movie, so maybe he'll be eating the humans. I hope not, but that could still be a possibility. Cut to one of the adolescent baby skull crawlers hunting down and killing this water buffalo that we've consistently seen throughout many of the TV spots and trailers. It looks like this baby skull crawler is going to be killing it. Toby Kibble's standing right in front of this guy. He is freaked out. This is when Kong's going to walk in the background behind him, and he'll turn around and he'll be all confused by that. Maybe the skull crawler will try and attack Toby Kibble's character. His name is Jack, confirmed to be Jack by the end credits of the movie. So now we also know, based off one of the other sneak peeks, that we saw, that they are looking for Jack. He did get separated from the main crew, and that is what Packard is after, is this guy, because they know he's not dead. Maybe he's the one firing the flares we'll talk about at the end of the trailer, trying to signal that he's alive. Anyways, what could be happening here is because Jack's separated from everyone else, this skullcrawler comes up, kills this water buffalo, letting him know that he's on the right track. He doesn't necessarily know that, but now the audience knows that he's at least in the area of our main crew, considering they also come across this same water buffalo, or at least a similar water buffalo. So the skullcrawler kills it, looks up at him, and it looks like he's about to be screwed. We also know Kong walks behind him, and he turns around and watches Kong. Maybe Kong's going to turn around and kill the skullcrawler and save him, because as we know, Kong is a gentle, good king who doesn't really care about these monsters too much, or at least care for them. Of John C. Reilly's character Hank Marlowe naming the Skullcrawlers. We also see Weaver and Conrad standing there making a joke about, well, they're not really making a joke about it, but they're it's a comedic relief scene where they're both there and they're like, yeah, no, Skullcrawler's a good name. Yeah, you picked a good name, because he's all intense about it, just saying he's trying to scare him and all. Cut to back to the boneyard. We see the Kong skull. It's one of Kong's ancestors at the very least. We see its skull set on fire. This is where the explosion comes in from the other trailer. We see Marlowe pick up his sword, his katana, probably that he got there when he was stranded there during World War II from the Japanese. He probably took it off a Japanese soldier. This is his katana that he's going to be using during this sequence. We also see another scene with him with the katana coming up. We see that giant skullcrawler from the end of trailer 2 at night starting to roar. Really epic scene. The CG looks amazing. This monster looks incredible. Cut to another explosion inside this whole big boneyard area, presumably. This character is going to go flying. Don't know his name, don't know the actor either. So this character is going to go flying. This could be from the same explosion inside the Kong skull, and it could be the same explosion that we see going off here in this trailer. Hank throws his katana, and it's a very Ash vs. Evil Dead kind of moment, or just Evil Dead in general, whenever they do one of those slow-mos when Ash is jumping up and putting his chainsaw hand on. We see some pterodactyls picking up some soldiers from a first-person perspective view. This first-person's perspective view is aiming down gunsight. Gonna probably shoot these pterodactyls. They're not technically pterodactyls, they're these things, but for all intents and purposes, they're pterodactyls. They're picking this guy up and flying away with him. This soldier's probably gonna try and shoot them down. We see Corey Hawkins' character Brooks underneath the Mother Longlegs as his blood pours down on top of him. We see Sam Jackson's character Packard shooting up at it, just being very, defensive over his soldiers. We also see the Mother Longlegs apparently picked up one of the soldiers and was apparently, it looks like, going to eat him or kill him at least, and it looks like it's dropping him as it's being shot. Kong standing here after he's destroyed some sort of, most likely a helicopter. This could be during that whole sequence at the start. The lighting behind him makes it look very bright, and it makes it look like this sequence is going to come later in the movie, in the sequence coming up in the trailer. So this could happen then, where Kong is standing in front of some destroyed object that's smoking in front of him. We also have Weaver's hair right in front of Kong's body, so we know this is going to be the two of them looking at each other. We have a new look at our natives of Skull Island. I like the idea that the blue paint may represent age or wisdom, and the yellow paint may represent warrior warriors and defensive people, or just the young ones of the island. It could be something along those lines where the paint color and the clothes color represent social status. I think that would be a really cool idea to toy around with. We have another shot of Kong looking at both Conrad and Weaver as the two of them stare right at him. Weaver finally touches Kong and smiles away. We knew this was going to happen from all the little advertisements and TV spots we've seen leading up to this point. We just never saw her hand make contact with him. We have that really cool shot of Weaver firing off a flare. We know what the carryover of that shot is. It actually nails a Skullcrawler right in the face and explodes on his head. He gets mad. Then we have another shot of a Skullcrawler chasing down this boat. We talked about this in yesterday's breakdown for all the B-roll footage, that we know that a Skullcrawler is going to be chasing after these people on this boat. They're going to be firing after him, and then Kong's going to show up. We have some nighttime shots of someone planting the bombs that are going to go off and set off this huge lake fire. That's going to be an incredible sequence. We have a daytime shot of an explosion going off on a hill, throwing Weaver through the air, and she lands in the water. This is actually how she gets in the water. A lot of people, including myself, were very confused on why she was in the water, what happened to her previous. Now it looks like someone detonates an explosion in a wall, or a helicopter may crash into that wall or that big stone mountain, and then the explosion is going to go off. The force of it is going to send her into the water. This is when Kong's going to pick her up. Shortly afterward, he's attacked by a Skullcrawler. This is the best scene of the trailer. This is also the last scene of the trailer. Kong swings his arm up. He's holding this tree. He rips all of the branches and pine needles off this tree. He puts it down. Then the Skullcrawler starts to charge at him. He lifts it up and cracks it right across the Skullcrawler's head, breaking it on its head. The camera goes in slow motion. Really cool use of slow motion throughout these Kong trailers. We've seen a lot of that up to this point. I think this movie's just going to be incredible, cinematography-wise, everything like that. It just looks absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to see this movie. Like I said, I am going to be able to see this movie on Wednesday, so 2 days from now, I'll be coming home from seeing this movie in a couple hours, and it's going to be incredible. I will hopefully be allowed to do a spoiler-free review before the movie comes out officially, and then when the movie comes out officially, I'll obviously go see it again and do my spoiler review. Also, the last thing to mention here is that the song that plays throughout this trailer is a song by the band The Animals. This song was made in 1965, so it fits the time period of the early 70s. The song is called We've Gotta Get Out of This Place. As you guys can hear, the song says, we've got to get out of this place.
We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do.
Obviously referring to the fact that the people on Skull Island, they don't belong here, as Weaver has been telling us. They've got to get out of there because it is a dangerous place. There are a lot of deaths are going to happen there, and the song is very fitting. Just like the earlier trailer used the song Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. So Bad Moon Rising is a song about trouble in the near future and death on the way.
Don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the right.
It is kind of a very ominous song leading up to the events of a lot of bad things happening. So this is just really cool. The fact that the music really fits the tone of this movie, in the whole idea of it's a very upbeat adventure movie, yet at the same time there's a lot of danger lurking in front of them, and they are going to wind up paying the price for it. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't checked out all my other breakdowns, go make sure you do that. Lots of Kong news, lots of Kong breakdowns that we've done up to this point. I hope you guys check them out. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for watching once again. D-Man, out.